Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Uranus in conjunct the Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between goals and aspirations, which is Uranus and new beginnings. One or the other may be overemphasized. The key is to find balance and equilibrium between the two. So it could be where you may be dominated by, your goals and aspirations, to the expense of, the new beginnings, or new beginnings may monopolize your time and energy so much to the expense of your goals and aspirations. So, the key is to find, again, it's about finding that balance, the equilibrium, and the harmony with the energy, because you have a lot of vacillation and distortion of energy with inconjunct aspects in astrology. Now, let's say if you have Uranus in Capricorn as an example, goals and aspirations, may be, tied in with things that are business related, career ambitions. It may be something associated with politics, government, information technology, masonry, carpentry, architecture, or construction as some examples. And another thing about, this aspect in the natal chart is that there may be an imbalance, which is the inconjunct aspect between activities with friends, which is Uranus, and those that were prominent in your early childhood and a grandparent, and you may be dominated by one or the other. So again, the key is to find, the balance, the equilibrium, and the harmony with the energy. So, the thing is, let's say, it could be where, the friendships, may dominate your time at times to the expense and exclusion of those that were prominent in your early childhood, or it could be where a grandparent and those that played an integral role in your early childhood may monopolize your time and energy to the expense of activities with friends. So again, it's about finding the balance with the energy. If you have, let's say, if Uranus is in Aquarius as an example, one or more friends may actually be an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the traits of the sign. It could be, those that are altruistic, selfless, eccentric, humanitarian, ingenious, unorthodox, eclectic, and may also be non-conforming and rebellious as well. Now, another thing too about this aspect is that it could indicate too much or too little inspiration, which is Uranus, for new beginnings, which is the ascendant. Now, let's say if the ascendant, say for example, is in Gemini, and new beginnings may be tied in with something related to communication. Could be data or satellite communication, something associated with writing, journalism, reporting. Could be something related to manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics. And another thing, too, about Uranus in conjunct the ascendant in a natal chart, it could be at times you may have an exorbitant amount of energy and vitality, which is the ascendant, to attain goals and aspirations, your objectives, which is Uranus. And then other times there may be none whatsoever. So there could be times where you have so much energy to do these things, and other times, as far as goals, aspirations, and objectives go, then other times, you may completely lack, that energy and vitality in doing so. So again, it's about finding the balance, the equilibrium and the harmony with the energy for these things. So let's say, for example, if Uranus is in Sagittarius, goals, aspirations, and objectives may be tied in with publishing, advertising, printing press operation, maybe something associated with sports, the outdoors, camping, religion, philosophy. And they may be done, with a lot of exuberance, enthusiasm, and expansive energy as well. Now, another thing, too, about Uranus in conjunct the Ascendant in a natal chart is that friends, which is Uranus, may either be extremely beneficial as far as new projects and endeavors go, which is the Ascendant, then other times they just may be, no help, whatsoever. So it can, go either way. There may be times where they may be extremely helpful in those new projects and endeavors, and other times they just may be like oblivious or apathetic, or they're nowhere to be found in those matters. So, let's say, for example, if the Ascendant is in Taurus, new projects and endeavors may be tied in with geology, carpet laying, working as a stockbroker, a pawnbroker, doing something associated with archaeology, could be architecture, art, music. It could be something with finance or banking, as some examples. And new projects and endeavors may also be done if the Ascendant is in Taurus. It may be done in a very methodical, deliberate, and plotting manner. And also, too, friends and people that are, prominent in groups, clubs, and organizations, which is Uranus, may either be very advantageous or detrimental in terms of your environment, which is the Ascendant. Now, let's say, for example, if the Ascendant, is in Taurus, the environment may be one in which, is very peaceful, tranquil, stable. As an example, Ascendant in Libra can be similar. It could be one that's peaceful, very balanced, and refined. As another example, the Aries rising may actually be an environment that's a little bit more aggressive and have a lot of activity and action, because Aries rising, of course, could be very action-oriented. Now, another thing about this aspect in the natal chart is that there may either be, tremendous or very little drive and motivation, which is the Ascendant, for activities that involve selflessness and altruism, which is Uranus. So it can indicate at times where there's this real exorbitant amount of drive and motivation, to do things that are, selfless and altruistic. And other times there's really, very little incentive or drive and motivation to get these things done. So again, the inconjunct aspect in astrology, it's about finding, the equilibrium, the harmony, and the balance with this. So let's say, for example, if Uranus is in a Pisces, altruistic actions may be ones that are tied in, with helping the less fortunate, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the homeless, the hungry. Uranus in Capricorn may be more tied in, may be done with more seriousness, or helping others, selflessly, maybe help them attain greater social status, stature in life. It may be, helping them become more successful, more ambitious, as an example. And also, too, I would say, when you look at the, Ascendant, in natal chart, it's also about, the first impression, how one comes across to others, and the fact that, Uranus can be about the disruptions and that can occur, unexpected events. So, It can indicate, I would say this aspect can indicate that if you're dealing with, unexpected situations or some disruptions, at times it may really have a very strong impact on how you come across to others and the first impression you may make. And other times it could be the other way around, where it simply has no effect and you're able to go about your business basically as usual, and how you present yourself. If the Ascendant is in Virgo, as an example, how you come across to others, maybe, someone that's very, scrupulous, proper, methodical, organized, very clean, someone that's very analytical and detail-oriented, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.